All right, so we got Tony's 06 Explorer, and we're gonna drain the fluid. We got a 7/8 wrench. We're gonna pull the main plug out of here. So we're gonna pull this plug right now. This plug has a stanchion in it here, and there's a special tool that we're gonna take this T30 plug out and take this out, and then we'll put a plug in here, and that's how we force the fluid through a suction gun back up in, and we'll show you that. Now the fluid's nice and clean on it, which is great. So we bought 6 quarts of fluid. We'll let you know how many we need to do it. And the transmission pan bolts are 5/16 or 8 millimeters. So we're gonna start taking those down. We'll get the pan down. The gasket is reusable. You know, we got a little over 100 on this vehicle, so Tony wanted to decide to buy a new gasket. We're gonna get the pan dropped down here, and we'll start going with that. We're gonna use a quarter drive. These things just tighten up so much because the gasket has little rings in them, so you can't over tighten the gasket. I'm sure you could over tighten it, but you know, you don't want to. So we're gonna get a little extension. We'll start cracking these loose. Crack all of these loose, and then we're gonna zip them down with the gun. I don't like to put the gun on them. You don't want to break any of these.
That'll make for a long night.
Yeah, it will. Even though we just had it off, we still don't want to be. When you're putting the vehicle up in the air, we're trying to keep it level, because when we go to put the fluid back in, you know, they want it to be around 120, 140 degrees. You know, so you're gonna run it for probably, you know, 5 to 8 minutes when we go to refill it. We'll talk about that, but you really need the vehicle to be close to level. I'm just taking the bolt down. If I keep the bolt in here, it's gonna kind of help me guide this thing down. Kind of would like to take a look inside here and see what we're looking at. So let's go bring this over onto the bench and see if we see any material in here. It doesn't look like there's any heavy clutch material in here, and there's no metal, and that's a really good sign. And this fluid, like I said, we just changed it, so you know, we can leave this in there. If Tony wants to drain it, we'll drain it all up. The magnet's right here, and it's got a little bit of fuzz on it, but nothing crazy. We'll clean that off. And so the gasket's reusable, but you got a new one. And see, these are the metal things that I'm talking about in here. You can't really over tighten these down, so just want to snug them up anyways. So we got a couple of 5/16 bolts we're cracking loose. This little long one. We got one over here. Two, they're the same length, so that ain't gonna matter anything. Put these right here. And we're gonna wiggle this down. This is gonna make a little splash. Okay. Not so much. So we got a couple of O-rings on it. We got our new filter now. And, you know, we're inspecting in here. We're making sure that the holes are clean where the O-rings are ride. You know, where they ride. That's good. That's nice and clean. And we don't see any debris or heavy clutch material. The Trinity looks good. The fluid condition was good. I know we just changed it. We're just going to take a couple of drops of oil, put them around the O-rings here. And we're going to push this up in place and line these up. Okay, now we can bolt it back up. Sucker!
Oops!
Yeah, we've gone this far without getting tranny fluid on us.
Hey, you know what? Make sure you have a bolt in your hand. Right, Steve?
Yeah.
Usually they don't slip off like that.
Yeah. Just put oil on the seals.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Yeah.
No, that thing can do it.
Hey, when I nod my head, you hit it.
Yeah. The second fell down again.
Jesus Christ.
It's pinching my glove. You sucker.
Don's gonna stop biting you.
Alright, you just hand tighten these up. This one all hand tight. Alright, so we wiped everything down clean. Took the magnet out, wiped it all out. Just cleaning the pan out. Tony got a new gasket we're putting on. We'll put a little grease on it, like we always do. And then we're gonna bolt this on. We've already got our filter bolted on. And notice that our new gasket doesn't quite look as nicely made as our old gasket, but we're gonna use the new one.
That's the Ford gasket, right from the Ford dealer. So that's what they're giving you.
Yeah. So let me get some grease and put it on here, and we'll throw this thing together. Okay, we like to put a thin coat on so that when we torque the gasket down, we'll see a little grease come out the side. We know it's evenly tightened. And this stuff will just basically wash away.
Steve's little trick to know that he's torqued right?
Sticking my gaskets on. Okay, we got the hose lined up. We'll do the same thing on the top of this gasket. You know, we did that wiring repair, and we would have never been able to get in there if we had this pan in place. So luckily we started fixing the wiring first, changing that connector over. All right, so we're going to go over it, and what we want to do is, so that saves us some time, we're going to pour some tranny fluid in this thing and fill it up. And we're going to go over and we're going to set the thing in place, and Tony's going to catch a couple bolts while I'm holding it up. That's going to save us time from putting fluid back inside it.
Right, so we put a transmission pan back into place. Just kind of went around with the ratchet wrench and hand tightened all these bolts. Just snug them up. You don't have to crank down on them because you don't want to snap them. But just snug them up by hand. Go in a crisscross pattern. Then go all the way around one last time. Make sure everything's snugged up hand tight and that it's not going to leak.
So we're taking the T30 out and taking the center plug out because this has a stanchion in it. And I'm going to thread this in here.
You know,
it's a suction gun. Fits on this.
This is where you fill the transmission pan.
Yeah, goofy as it looks, but this is really it.
I'll put a link to that little nozzle in the description of the video. You can buy them on Amazon, so I'll put a link right over to it. So this is how you top off your fluid. And you gotta put a bunch in there until it comes dribbling out of the hole right there, right, Steve?
So we're gonna put the car down, we're gonna start it, and then see when the fluid stops leaking out. If we run it for 5 minutes or so, we should be up to temperature. And that's what our goal is. All right, we're checking the level. If nothing leaks out, we gotta put some more in.
Village. Steve's got a case of the dropsies tonight.
It's been a long night.
It has been a long night. Should have done this 3 hours ago. Hey.
Okay, so we gotta add some more.
In a minute, Steve's hooking up his nipple.
Yeah. I'm gonna use my crappy suction gun.
There we go. Okay, so once you've got it filled, once it stops coming out of this nipple right here, it's gonna be level, right, Steve?
Yeah, we're gonna take it out, put the plug back in, because I'm tired of getting full of fluid.
So once it stops dripping, you're gonna put the little screw back in.
T30 torque bit. Snug it up. That's all she wrote.
So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll reply back to you. Thanks for watching.